speaking of New York's own Chris Weidman is on the phone. How about this? Chris, are you there?
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Chris. Long time no speak. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Where are you driving off to?
Oh, you can hear me driving?
Yeah.
I just got done getting some wrestling in, and now I'm heading to get some physical therapy, just normal stuff.
Okay.
And I got another workout later.
There's a lot to talk to you about, Chris. Let's start here. Were you prepared, if things didn't work out with the UFC, to not fight on the MSG card? Would you have been able to handle that?
Yeah. You know, I was definitely prepared. It would have sucked to watch that after everything that I've been through to help get that thing, to get it legalized. And just have to watch everybody else kind of enjoying it. You know, it's been a dream of mine to be able to finally fight in New York. And if I just had to sit on the sideline, it would have sucked. But it was definitely fun. I had to stay strong with it.
How close did it get to not being a reality?
I don't know, man. It was getting kind of close. I mean, I pretty much, we came to terms pretty much the day before the press conference. So I don't know if it would have been something that would have happened if I didn't show up to that press conference. So I'm glad that we got it done before.
Can you tell us about how you got it done?
I know Dana came out and told people about, me meeting with Lorenzo and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, basically, first I met with Dana for a while. A nice long dinner in New York City, and then I ended up being that he wanted me to talk to Lorenzo after the dinner. So then I flew to Vegas. That was on Monday, so the day before the press conference, still not knowing what was going to happen. Flew to Vegas, and I ended up going to Lorenzo's house, which was ridiculous. And hung out with him and talked to him for about 2 hours, and I had to jump back on a plane that was scheduled right at that, heading back. And then Tuesday was the day of the press conference, so I finally woke up at like 1 o'clock the next day because I had no sleep for 2 days straight.
Wait, so when
went to the press conference.
When you say it's ridiculous, what's ridiculous? The house or the fact that you met with Lorenzo?
Oh, no, the house.
Oh, okay.
It was 65,000 square feet, not including the basement. I mean, the guy, he's doing great. He's doing great for himself.
Yes, clearly. But what about the fact that you had to meet with the ex-owner? Like, he has nothing to do with the company anymore. Why'd you have to meet with him?
You know, it was one of those things where Lorenzo was kind of my guy that I was in touch with before he left. And so me and Dana were close to getting the deal done, but then he felt like it was something that the right thing to do would be between me and Lorenzo and not me and him. And I was just like, well, he doesn't own the company anymore. But Dana's point was that whatever Lorenzo's going to say, it's going to be. I mean, so whatever Lorenzo thought was fair is something that Dana would respect as, the new owner of the UFC. After them being close best friends for how many years, so it didn't matter. It was definitely something I didn't expect to happen, but it ended up happening, and we ended up figuring everything out.
So he was kind of like a mediator, like an arbitrator, sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Definitely different, yeah. It was an interesting experience, but we got it done, man. It was a stressful couple of weeks for sure.
What's he like? And I mean, no one's heard from him. Is he just kind of like sitting there eating grapes and having pina coladas, living the life after selling the company?
I think he's kind of hanging out. I don't want to start talking about his personal life. I don't want to, you don't mess with a billionaire.
Sure.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, he's enjoying life, man. He's sold, and I think he's just enjoying his family for a little bit.
Okay, so they offer you Yoel Romero. I said that I thought this was the only fight to make. This is the fight that made the most sense. If you win this fight, I envision this scene of everyone chanting USA, USA at Weidman, New York, New York. I mean, this is a fight to propel you into that, into that title shot again, into that discussion. Do you feel the same way? Is this the best case scenario for you?
Why do you feel like that, as opposed to Jacare or Rocco? Why do you feel like he was the best fight?
Okay.
And why do you feel like people would be chanting USA, USA? Him as opposed to everyone else.
Okay, I think you know the answer to this question.
I interview people around you. Okay?
That's cool. Yoel Romero.
See how you handle that.
Yoel Romero is a very polarizing figure in the sport. He is somewhat maligned.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, he has a controversial past. He was suspended for 6 months by USADA. He has the incident with Tim Kennedy not that long ago, and I think that he has the post-fight interview, the Machida fight, and all that stuff. You are the quintessential babyface. You are fighting in New York. You're the guy who lobbied and went to Albany countless times to make this happen. The last time we saw you was in the title fight. This is your rebound fight. I think very few people are going to be cheering for Yoel, considering you're the New York guy and you're very well liked around these parts and what you did to get the sport legalized here. I think that because people have an emotional connection to you, but also towards him, as opposed to a Jacare who they respect but don't have that same kind of feelings towards, I think it's going to erupt into something.
Connection towards him because he's failed the drug test and because of the Stoolgate issue with Tim Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're clear on what you're saying.
Well, I mean,
audience knows what you're trying to get across. I want to make sure that the articles, the headlines of articles, are saying what Ariel said, not what Chris said. I love it.
I'm not the.
Ariel said that Yoel Romero, polarizing figure because he failed the drug test.
Well,
because he did the Stoolgate thing.
Now, important to note, Chris, as we're playing this game.
Wait, Malky's gonna call you. Malky's gonna call you a piss now. I hope you can deal with this.
It's important to note, though, that he was somewhat exonerated because they found out that his supplements were tainted. Now, I still feel.
Look at this.
Come
on. Stick to your words.
No, I still feel like you deserve something. Tainted or not, you're putting in your body. Do you think that he's taking PEDs? Do you think he's on PEDs? You agree with what I said?
That's the Ariel I know. You came off a little soft. That's the instigator Ariel I know. That's what I'm proud of you, boy.
Well, I'm sensing some tension here, Chris. What's going on? What's happening between us?
I'm busting your balls. Right. You're getting tight. You're getting a little tight. I like it. So I think, listen, man, I'm on the same page as you. I think once you have PEDs in your system, to be honest with you, I think anytime that you put PEDs in your system, I think you should be suspended forever. And now you have this whole thing where it's these tainted supplements, which honestly I'm not sold on. I feel like every time someone fails a drug test, the first thing they go to is that, oh, I was taking this and it was tainted. I mean, it doesn't take too much time to be like, oh, wait, I failed for testosterone or whatever it is. And, okay, let me find a supplement inside GNC that people might feel is not a big deal to take to make me to let them be a little bit more lenient with their sentence on me. And then when you bring it up in news, it's like, oh, he took a tainted supplement. I'm not sold that there really are these tainted supplements out there. I feel like if you're taking stuff that's like legit, like protein and like a creatine, and it's not from like a weird thing that says testosterone booster and all this stuff. I don't believe that you're failing a drug test. I feel like people are crapping their pants now because every time someone fails a drug test, they're saying that it's a tainted supplement, so now everybody's scared to take a supplement. But I don't even think that's real.
Okay. So you're a guy who's talked about this sort of thing with Vitor and throughout your career. Yeah. Is this a personal fight for you?
It's personal because the guy. He's a gifted athlete. He just failed for steroids, and this is the biggest fight of my life. I'm fighting Madison Square Garden. I feel like I will probably get the title fight. I go out there and do my thing the way I feel like I should. Get a title fight and get right back on track. So this is a huge fight, and I have no emotional connection. I don't like when people take steroids and cheat, especially when you're walking into a cage. It really pisses me off. And then when you have all the excuses and people start feeling bad for you, I just don't buy it. And either way. I mean, the thing is, I started going crazy of these guys that are taking steroids now. But I was in the sport pre-USADA, and I was naive to the idea that all these guys weren't taking steroids, and now all these guys are getting caught for it. So at the end of the day, I was fighting guys who were on steroids even before this, and now guys are just getting caught for it. So. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You make a ton of sense. You watched UFC 204 on Saturday, right?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you?
I got in for the second round of Vitor, so I missed the whole first round of Vitor and Musashi, and then I saw the Bisping fight.
Who'd you score the main event for?
I scored for Henderson. I thought Henderson won the first round.
10-8?
Maybe 10-8. I thought it could have been a 10-8. I would have liked to. I think at least one of the judges should have given it a 10-8. I don't even know why that wasn't even a thought. And then second round, I thought he won. Yes, he was getting pitter-pattered for most of the rounds, but he almost finished the fight again in the second round. Dropped him again. So I think if you almost finish in the fight, you win the round. I don't care how long you were losing the round. He was never in danger in the second round, so I thought he won that round. And then I also thought he won the fifth round. So if you would have given it a 10-8 round in the first round, gave him the second round, and then the fifth round, I mean, he completely dominated the fight. And I want to make it very clear. Bisping, I mean, the guy's talk. All he does is he's put down everything I've ever done in my career. The guy has squashed me, everything I've ever accomplished. And I really don't have any ill will towards the guy. I see him with his family. I think when his kids are rooting against him, I think it's hysterical. He actually seems like a humble guy when you kind of see him around his family. And then he comes out mouthing off about me and other guys. It doesn't bother me at all. He can say whatever he wants. I don't think he's a bad guy. That guy doesn't bother me at all. Shoot, I just went the wrong direction. But I thought Henderson, it would have been nice to see the guy go out with that championship belt. It was amazing to watch.
But for you in the division, isn't this the better case scenario? Because now Bisping keeps the belt, it's not vacated, and you versus him is kind of like a rivalry that's been brewing, so that's a big fight for the belt. Don't you feel like this is better for you that he won?
Yeah, it could have been, but you never know what happens. So I was kind of Henderson with his story. You got Bisping, who was calling him an old man and just soft and I'm going to kick your ass. And I don't know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with that, talking to Henderson. And to see Henderson go out there, the only weapon he really has at this point is 46 years old, is that right hand, and Bisping couldn't figure out a way to stay out of the way of it. It was crazy to watch. It was amazing. I was happy for Dan Henderson. And then it was a 5-round fight, and he was still going. I thought he won the 5th round.
Yeah.
And Henderson, there was no way in my mind I thought I could see him go 5 rounds. If you watch his last couple of fights, I mean, his age was showing, for sure. And so it was a chilling moment for sure, to see him accomplish all that, to see what he was doing to the middleweight champion of the world.
So when you're on the couch watching this, I'm assuming you're on your couch watching this, or maybe in your bed, whatever, and Bisping gets on the mic and starts talking about you and running down the whole division, you just kind of laugh it off? You don't get fired up at home about this?
No. I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that guy probably had that in his head before the fight and told himself, all right, after I dominate Dan Henderson, I'm gonna get on the mic and call out all these 4 guys and say these certain things about him. And it's going to look really cool, and it's going to look good. But the guy, he shouldn't have done that when he barely beat the number 14 guy in the weight. And Dan Henderson, he's 14th because he's a legend and everything he's accomplished before that. But in the last couple of fights, I mean, I really don't know if he should be ranked 14th. And for him to get on the mic and start calling out the top 4 guys like he just did something impressive, I really thought Dan Henderson should have got his hand raised. So for him to get on the mic, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for him. But no, it didn't bother. He could say my name a billion times and call me all the names he wants. That guy, no matter what comes out of his mouth, does not affect me.
Is it still somewhat surreal that he's the champion?
I kind of got used to it. It was kind of weird to be seeing that these guys fighting, and that's for the championship belt, and that was the champion, the middleweight champion in my weight class. Out there, and he's struggling. I mean, the guy, it wasn't an impressive performance at all. I mean, he wanted to go out there and really show that he's the true champion of the middleweight division, and he got the fight he wanted, which was crazy that he got that fight, and that's the way he came up. That's the way he looked. I mean, it's a little embarrassing for sure.
were you told when you were negotiating and talking about your fight that if you beat Yoel, you're going to be next in line?
No. I mean, I feel like I would, but it doesn't matter if they told me or not. It's just I got to go out there and win, and then whatever happens after that happens.
So do you kind of view it like there's like a mini tournament, like whoever looks best is going to get the title shot?
Yeah, worst case scenario, yeah. So I just got to go out there and dominate Yoel, and I think the rest will happen on its own. And whatever. I came to peace. Listen, if I got to win 3 more fights to get a title shot, will I be pissed about it? Yeah, but listen, it is what it is. I got to just go out there and fight and show everybody what I got. So that's really the goal. Go out there and have fun and beat people up and get back to winning.
Who do you think wins, Luke or Jacare?
If you watch the first fight, at that point, Jacare was just kind of more of a jiu-jitsu guy. Had power in his hands, but I don't think he was really confident with it. And he still rattled Luke's bell a couple times in that fight. But his thing was definitely jiu-jitsu, And now I feel like he's a more well-rounded guy. Luke got way better as well. Got better stand-up, better jiu-jitsu, better wrestling. But I feel like Luke coming off of a knockout loss to Michael Bisping is not the best for your head. And now you got Jacare, who just watched him get knocked out by Mr. Pillow Hands himself. Couldn't stage Dan Henderson, who, listen, I love Dan Henderson to death, but he was knocked out. I think he was stopped 4 of his last 6 fights or something like that, right? I don't know the stats completely, but he's been knocked out a couple times, and Bisping couldn't do anything to him. So I think Jacare wants to get his hands on him, and then that'll open up his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling way more. So I'm leaning towards thinking Jacare will win that fight.
All right. What was it like being at that press conference with all the fans and Conor doing his thing? And you were getting some questions, but it kind of felt like, okay, those two guys, it really was sort of the Conor show again. Do you like that? Do you like being a part of that? Or do you wish that the love was spread out a little more?
I mean, you always want more love. I mean, that's just part of human nature. But no, I had a great time at that press conference. I felt the love. I love the energy the new people brought. Everyone's so excited to finally have MMA in New York. And no, zero jealousy or anything like that with Conor. It's great to have him on the card. It's going to be watching. And it was exciting. It was just honestly just exciting. It was a really exciting press conference. The way they kind of had us all, behind the curtain, and they pull it up, and then we are. It was a really.
Did we lose Chris? May have lost. Oh, are you back, Chris? Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the reveal of all you guys standing up and the curtains come up. One of the greatest cage moments in UFC history. It was just so exciting being there. It felt like I was at a taping of the Jerry Springer show with everyone chanting UFC, UFC. Amazing stuff. Is it a little weird for you though? I can't wrap my head around the fact that you're the only Serra Longo fighter on this card. That to me is amazing in a non-good way. You know what I mean? Like I would have predicted you, Volante, I know he's kind of half, but you get what I'm saying. Sterling, like the whole card could have been New York versus the world. Is it a bit of a bummer that you're the only one?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I'd always imagine, the first event in New York, I always just imagine all the New York fighters there, finally having the opportunity to fight in New York. But it kind of, the way it worked out now is this first show was obviously the biggest, but you start coming to the realization that fighting in New York is going to be a thing that's happening multiple times a year. And that this first one was really cool and it'd be great. I would love if all my teammates were on there, obviously, and all the other guys from New York because, we've been waiting for this moment forever. But the way it worked out, for whatever reason, I am the only one. And it sucks, but at the end of the day, this event will pass, and then there'll be a next event, there'll be another event, and people will forget really about, I wasn't on the first event ever. It's not going to be something that I feel like that, you hang your hat on.
Right.
Long, you kind of just move on. And then next thing, there'll be another event at Madison Square Garden in a couple months. So as bad as it sucks that they're not on it, I know that at the end of the day, they'll get over it and that they'll have their time there as well.
And I know you were asked about the Iaquinta situation sort of at the press conference. What's his mood like these days? Is he going to the gym or no?
Yeah, no, I know he was just there. I missed him, but I know he was just there the other day training. He's doing good. I know he's doing his real estate at the same time. I think he's doing really good with that. I think he's putting some serious hours in. But I actually haven't had a conversation with him in like 2 weeks, so I got to catch back up with Mr. Al.
Okay.
Probably give him a call today. I didn't mention it. I've been crazy busy, so
yeah,
all over the place.
Any limitations with the neck?
No, nothing, man. My neck is feeling really good. No issues at all. Strength is completely back. Full range of motion. So thank God, nothing with the neck at all.
It's amazing what it took for you to get to this point. With I remember when you wrote that post on your Instagram about the neck injury and how upset you were and kind of depressed about the whole situation, but you guaranteed that you'd be in New York. And then the contract thing. I mean, what a road it has been just to get to New York, right?
Man, it's been stressful, and yeah, when I hurt my neck, I wanted that Luke fight more than anything. I wanted to prove myself and let everybody know that first fight wasn't me in there. And I've never felt better for a training camp, and to see it all disappear 2 weeks before that fight, and the neck injury came out of nowhere. It was like everything was fine. I had no injuries, and then all of a sudden, and I was very cautious about getting injured. That's the other thing. I did not want to get injured. And then next thing I know, the worst pain, that nerve pain came in, and then I was losing my title shot. And now look at me. Now I'm okay. Like I had that title shot right there and then for my rematch. I felt like I would have got my belt back. And now I'm fighting for contendership, and there's no guarantee of me getting a title shot after this fight. I think I will, but there's no guarantee. So it was a spot in my life where I was depressed, man. All the pain I was going through before surgery, I was trying to take my time picking a doctor, and every day was extreme pain on painkillers. It was like it was like more like a 3-week period where I was depressed, man. I really don't. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. I really don't get depressed too much, and that was a tough time.
How do you handle depression? Like, what's Chris Weidman like when he's depressed? I don't know. I was on painkillers, man. I literally could not go. I had to be on painkillers. I was in so much pain. And that nerve pain, it's like the number one cause of depression that people have is like cervical neck pain. And I've had, I wrestled my whole life, so I had stingers growing up. I've had a bunch of issues with my neck and obviously other injuries. And but you get a stinger, it sucks. You're scared to wrestle or you're scared to spar because every time you go for a takedown or you get punched, you might have a stinger. But when you have the constant nerve pain that I had, it was no matter where I put my neck, no matter what I did, I had this terrible neck pain, and I had to be on painkillers, and I hate being on I hated being taking anything. So it was it just sucked, and I don't know what I was in a cloud. I don't even remember what the hell I was doing. Wow.
I don't know. I honestly gonna have to ask my wife. It was like you were drunk for 3 weeks. I don't remember anything.
Did you eat a lot of pizza, or was it Sal's?
Well, I'm sure I definitely ate a lot of pizza. I don't have to remember that. But chicken rolls and pizza, I'm sure, were definitely a big part of the diet.
What are chicken rolls?
Chicken rolls are, you got the bread, wrapped around. It's like almost like a little, I don't know how to describe it, but you have like fried chicken and marinara sauce inside fried breading.
Wow.
And then of course you got, you break it up and you usually cut it in half, then you're dipping it into the marinara sauce that they give you on the side too. So it is really good. That's usually one of my go-tos when I'm eating when I'm depressed.
Wow. I had no idea.
Bad.
All right.
You've never had a chicken roll? What the hell is wrong with you?
Never had a chicken roll. It's funny. I was just looking back at our interview. Before I let you go, I'll just tell you this. I was just looking back at our interview at your house after Hurricane Sandy. It's an amazing thing to watch. I don't know if you've ever seen it or rewatched it, but it's just amazing to see how far you've come and what your life was like at that point. Like you said at one point that you had no underwear, that you had to go find some underwear because you had lost all your underwear. Do you remember that?
Yeah, man, you just gave me the chills. I think when I actually stop and think about my story, like where I came from and now where I am, I'm just so blessed and grateful because, man, I never cared about money. I never cared. All I wanted was like not to be embarrassed if I happened to be going out to lunch with a couple people that I can't pay for my own lunch. That's honestly, that was like my dream. I just wanted to be able to have enough money in my bank account to where I could buy lunch without calling my wife and figuring I'm going to go into debt, just be able to actually have money to pay for lunch. That's all I cared about. And I remember actually my second MMA fight, there was a guy in the gym. I never had socks. I always had like mismatched socks. I never had like, they would be baggy, like hanging off. I had the same socks since like elementary school. And the guy in the gym, the kid who had more money than me, was like, if you win this next fight, I'm buying you 50 pairs of socks. And honestly, that was like the best present I ever got, man. He gave me 50 pairs of like low cut socks, and I remember just being so happy, man. I still have those socks, but still the ones I use most of the time.
Wow.
Hey, hang on one second. Hey, what's going on here, Kevin? Hey, what's up, buddy? So it's funny to see. It is crazy, man, to see where it is. You know what they say is like, I became an overnight success. It took me, I don't know, 20-something years to become an overnight success. I beat Anderson Silva, and all of a sudden people think it happens overnight, but it was really, man, I got to actually sit down and think about this because I'm not one to usually reflect. But, I mean, I put in so many years of work, ups and downs, with no thought of ever, like, making money. And all of a sudden it finally pays off. It's that delayed gratification. You never... That's the real success. Everyone's looking for that lottery ticket, but what it is you put all this work in and you don't see the benefits of the work you put in until maybe years later. Like I just got done with a great wrestling practice. I felt great. Am I a better wrestler tomorrow? Probably not, but maybe in a couple of months, that work I just put in now, that extra time I just put in, maybe that'll benefit me then. I don't know. So it's the life of a fighter. You don't see the success. You don't see the success right away.
And that's why, in a nutshell, it would have been a travesty if you didn't end up on that card. Considering everything you did for the sport, considering your story, considering where you're from, you had to be on that card, and I'm glad they got it done. Thank you for the time, Chris. I appreciate that. I appreciate you reflecting a little bit, and good luck in the last month, and I look forward to seeing you at MSG.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
And thanks for turning the tables on me there. You didn't get me. It was a nice try, but next time bring your A game, all right?
Bro, you were flustered. Let's be honest. You're not used to that. So every once in a while, look, you got all upset. You were like, "Well, I feel like there's some tension here, Chris."
No, that's how I turned the tables back. Come on, man. Look, if we got into the ring,
I just want to make it. Let me make this very clear. Okay. I'm the psychology major here. I understand the mindset. I understand your mindset and how you tried to flip it on me. But I'd let you flip it on me. It's your interview. At the end of the day, I saw you flustered. I got what I wanted. You got flustered. And then you turned it back on me, which of course I let happen. And then you're happy, I'm happy. It's okay.
All right. It's a good day. We're both happy.
All right.
All right. Much love.
Both happy. Yes. Much love to you too. Take care, everybody. Thanks for the support.
All right. There he is, Chris Weidman. Great stuff there from Chris Weidman. Always a pleasure to talk to him. Always love hearing from Chris. And I do mean it when I say he had to be on that card. Kind of wild that he got the deal done with Lorenzo Fertitta. How about that? But hey, that's the way things go. Kind of served as a mediator, an arbitrator, if you will. Crazy stuff going on in MMA.